Hello, happy Sabbath. It's Friday, May 4th, 2012, and I thought I'd record a quick video. Um, I got my hair trimmed today, so got a lot of really good relationship material. That's one of the good things. One of the things I miss about going to a stylist, and I actually appreciate where I went. And forgive me, I can't remember the name of the establishment, but it is a little barber shop um, right next to Kroger's on 71st in Georgetown. The owner's name is Kevin. He's from Gary, so shout out to my GI people. And then also Nikki Bishop, she cut my hair and she did a fabulous job. And I'm going to actually plug this place. Oh, and Chris, he's from Chicago. He was great, but you're from Chicago. I guess we'll embrace you because you guys gave us Jordan, so I kind of have to appreciate that. But customer service was awesome. Um, the atmosphere was very pleasant and peaceful, and it was just a very relaxed environment. So if you're looking for some place, and I'm sorry, I have hair in my face. Um, if you're looking for some place to get your hair cut, or women, if you're looking for someone who is a very pleasant woman who will actually treat you like she values you, then I suggest you go. I think it's called the Cutting Place or something like that. I can't remember, and I apologize that I don't know the name of it. But anyway, got some really good, um, had some really good relationship conversations today, and one of the topics we discussed was soul ties. And I don't know why the guys actually became very interested in my conversation, but I guess because I'm really forthcoming with the information and I don't try to sugarcoat it, and I don't play the all women are good role, so I'm going to make it that all men are bad, because that's not true. I know a bunch of really good men, and I know a bunch of horrible women. People are people, irrespective of gender. But soul ties are real. And one real, real problem that is prevalent today is people's inability to be alone. I know so many people that go from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. One January, you're dating this person. March, you're dating this person. May, you're dating this person. By December, you're engaged to somebody else. And it's like, really, I can't keep up with you. I I don't date frequently because I believe dating should have a purpose. Dating should not be just so I can have some man on my arm, or be on some man's arm, or have someone to pay my bills, which I still have not figured out the trick to getting men to pay my bills. But I guess because I can pay my own bills, I don't really have any expectation for them to pay my bills. But a lot of people date because they don't want to be alone, or they want someone to pay their bills, or they want someone to cook their food, or they want someone to clean their house. And that's not what dating should be. God said it's not good for man to be alone, but he created man and woman to be together in a marriage relationship, and not created man and woman to be together until they find another man or another woman to be with. And we have not taught our children the value of marriage, and we have not taught our children the reason for a relationship. I don't understand why people just can't have friends of the opposite sex without benefits. I have plenty of male friends that, hey, if I want to go to the movies, I can call and like, hey, you know what? I want to go to see Avengers. I want to go see The Hunting Game. And I don't want to go by myself. You want to go? I'll pay my own way. We can go Dutch, whatever. Just want to have company. Or 9 times out of 10, I go by myself because I have learned how to become comfortable with myself. And part of the problem is people just don't understand how to be by themselves, and they're not comfortable being by themselves. And I question that, because if you're not comfortable being by yourself, why would anybody else be comfortable being with you? The best thing I ever did for myself when I turned 35 was to basically take a step back and evaluate who I was and what was going on with me, why I was the way I was. And part of it was fear of abandonment. my parents divorced when I was 5. And so there was some fear of, my father leaving, and doing everything I could as a little girl, trying to get my dad to come back. I thought, well, if I act this way, maybe he'll come back. Or if I act this way, maybe he'll come back. Or if I'm really, really sweet, maybe he'll come back. And I remember being really sincere one day, and he came over. It was me and my younger brother. I have a brother that's a year younger than me. And we're sitting in there, and we're sitting on his lap. And I said, Daddy, when are you coming back? And I could tell he was really hurt by the question. And he said, I'm not. And I guess I may have been 6. And at that point, it's like I realized that my daddy wasn't coming back. And so having kind of, pushed that to the back of my mind and just kind of trying to accept that, I think manifested itself in many ways over time. And I began to cling to relationships that were not necessarily healthy for me because I didn't want the person to leave me. Or, it was just that fear. So I always ended relationships first. That way they didn't leave me. They were relationships probably should have been in the first place, but would stay in because I was just trying to hold on to something. And when I was 35, I took time out and I said, you know what? I really need to understand what's going on with me. What's really going on with me? Because if I don't fix what's wrong with me or what's going on with me, or at least understand why I behave a certain way, why I pick certain men, or should I say I allow certain men to gravitate towards me, or I attract certain men, then I'm going to always be miserable and unhappy. So that was like the best thing I could do for myself, because I then began to understand that it was because of that fear of abandonment that I allowed myself to be in certain situations. And after that, I'm sorry, I didn't date from like 4 years. I didn't date because I was busy working on me. And then by the time I started dating again, I knew what I was going to put up with and what I wasn't going to put up with. And even if I put up with it, it was like, okay, I'm putting up with this right now because I'm not really trying to deal with this. Eventually, I'm going to let it go. So I'm not going to put any energy into it. But no longer doing that, because that's not healthy either. To just kind of put up a relationship. It's not going to work. Just walk away from it. But when you engage in intercourse with another person, you create what's called a soul tie. And women, and I explained this to the young men in the barbershop today, I said, women, we receive men. So sex for us is very different than it is for men. We take men into ourselves. So we are receiving you. We're receiving your spirit into us. And so that's why there's this totally different emotional component to sex with regard to women than men. Men, you're just kind of giving. Everything you're doing, you're pushing out of yourself. And so it's different for you because you're not taking anything. Even though there's a soul tie created, the relationship is, or the emotion is very different for you than it is for us. That's why it's easier for men to sleep around and have multiple partners. And men need to understand that so that they can prevent that from happening. If you understand why it is so easy for you to sleep with multiple women, then you can work on not doing that. The best thing, though, is for people to just learn who they are. If you're in a relationship, give yourself a break. Women, I am so sick and tired of y'all just in relationship after relationship after. Take a break already. Don't you know that people see that? People see, she was just with this dude a couple months ago. Then she's with this dude. Now she's with this dude. And then you get upset when someone calls you out of your name. Well, I mean, what do you think it looks like? You change men like you change shoes. And, men, y'all need to slow that down too, because it's not cute. There's too much out there. Too many people dying. Too many children being born out of wedlock. It just needs to stop. People, you need to start respecting yourself, respecting your bodies, respecting other people. Once you start respecting yourself, you will refuse to give yourself to someone who is undeserving. And in my opinion, if you're not ready for long-term commitment, you're not ready for marriage, then you're not deserving. Yes, we all have needs, and especially if you've been sexually active for a while, yeah, you're gonna have certain needs. Well, at least try to act like you got some sense about it, and not just settle. I just don't understand it now that I have really understood what it means, and I just want people to begin to love themselves, because in essence, all of that is just a lack of love, a lack of self-esteem. And once you love yourself, then you'll realize what you're worth. And once you realize what you're worth, then you will realize that most of the stuff that you put up with, it's beneath you. And it's not that you're better than anyone else, it's that you're better than circumstances. So I implore you to please take some breaks in between your relationships. Learn who you are, because guess what? We're tired of you. We are. We're just tired of the woe is me attitude. We're tired of, why can't I find a good man? Why can't I find a good woman? I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find that. First thing you need to be doing is praying and asking God to reveal to you who it is that you should be with. The second thing you need to be doing is praying and asking God to prepare you for the person that He has for you, and to prepare that person for you. And then the third thing you need to do is live. You should not spend your life seeking a mate. You should spend your life living, and then praying, along the way, pray and ask God to reveal to you who He has for you. We spend too much time trying to date, not enough time living and being productive people. So if you don't remember anything else I say to you, just remember that you're worth the time and effort that you will put into learning who you are. Take your wilderness experience when you have left that relationship and you're broken and torn and you don't know which way to go. Take some time out. Take time out. Seriously. If you don't do that, you're doomed. The next relationship is doomed, because you're going to invite crap into your relationship from fear of loneliness. You're not going to end a relationship in a timely manner if it's not healthy. You are going to bring emotional baggage into the relationship that could possibly put the other person in a position where they are on the receiving end of a bunch of anger and bitterness that you have about the person that you're with before. And the third thing is, if you're in relationship after relationship, there's something seriously wrong with you, and you need to either A, get some help, or two, sit down, do some journaling, start looking at, some self-reflection, looking at, all your relationships, what is it that went wrong, and then start saying, what role did I play? Because too many times people don't think that they had anything to do with it. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. It was all his fault, or it was all her fault. I can guarantee you, both of y'all had something to play in that. So just learn, what is it that you're bringing into other relationships that could be damaging your potential for a healthy relationship, because everyone deserves a healthy relationship. You just need to make sure you're healthy enough for a relationship. And if you're not, don't get into one, really, because it's doomed before it even starts. So this is the first one. I'm sure some other things are going to come to mind, because I tend to babble. But soul ties, they are real. They are very real. And my request, what I'm doing, and what I encourage people to do, don't have sex till marriage. At the very least, don't have sex till you're engaged, because then you know that person is someone you want your soul to be tied to. The worst thing you can have is your soul tied to somebody that you do not want to be with, or someone who is not good for you, or someone who is just not the right person. You know they're not the right person, but you can't shake them because you've created this tie. So just take some time, reevaluate, learn to love yourself, learn to respect yourself, learn to respect the institution of marriage, learn to respect relationships, and try to live healthy and happy. You don't have to have a man or woman to define you. And anyone that thinks something's wrong with you because you're by yourself, they got some serious issues they need to be dealing with. So I will follow up with more of this later. Enjoy your evening.